FE12, Hard 3, 0% growth, Chapter 20. I need a second healer, as well as the hammerne staff, so Militia is coming off the bench for the rest of the run. I'm going to promote her as well, mostly for the increased movement. I could have promoted her a long time ago, and I was willing to if I ever ran into a situation where it would have made a difference, and that just didn't happen until now. She has one advantage over Yumina, which is that even reclassed to a Sage, she still has A-rank staves right after promoting, with of course higher magic than Bishop, but Yumina is only halfway to A-rank as a Sage, and for some reason doesn't accumulate staff rank anymore as a Bishop, so that's just never going to happen for her. Aside from killing Harden, the most annoying thing about this chapter is the bishops with the swarm tomes. They have 26 total might and cover most of the map where we need to go, so I pass out some pure waters and bring the barrier staff. In fact, that's one advantage that Yumina has over Militia, is that she can survive the swarm tomes without any resistance buff. Fina, meanwhile, only has 16 HP and 0 resistance. She needs a fresh pure water or a fresh barrier from an A-rank staff user, plus the talisman we got in chapter 14, plus the star sphere to survive with 1 HP, so that's annoying. Speaking of stat boosts, when we recruited Wolf, he came with a Draco Shield, which is of course going to Katarina. Now, Harden is an extremely difficult boss. He looks armored, but he is not, so you can't deal effective damage, and you can't deal damage at all unless the unit is holding the light sphere. Harden has 30 speed, so your only realistic chance of not being doubled is with a Swordmaster. But this is why Harden is such a pain compared to Medius. He's an A-rank lance user, which means a Swordmaster is at weapon triangle disadvantage, so they lose all their weapon rank bonuses, which in the case of Katarina's B rank is 2 points of might, plus an additional -1 for being at disadvantage against A rank. So that's -3, but since I'm going to be critting, that's really -9, and across the 3 crits I need, that's -27 damage just from being at triangle disadvantage. So in order to deal with this, I'm finally selling most of this crap I've been hoarding all game to forge the ultimate weapon, FE7. It was either that or Pent, since it is magic damage after all, but Pent has enough glory to his name already, we don't need to add to that. Then just a couple of little fixes to the preparations here and we're ready to start. There's a thief here at the start that we need a dance extension to kill, and the star sphere allows you to exceed stat caps, so with 28 speed, this thief is doubleable, although sometimes he rolls 29 speed, like in this attempt, in which case I figure I might as well try for a crit. It's turn 1, iterations are fast, and I did get it, so I just kept going. But generally I'd plan to double that guy. Everyone else starts heading into this big empty room. This chapter is really all about killing Harden, so it's pretty light on trash, which I think is cool design. There's a ton of reinforcements later, but they're more of a time gate for finishing the chapter, rather than something you're actually supposed to deal with, like in chapter 19. This chapter starts with a new unit named Midia, and the enemies around her will kill her before too long, so we're just going to rescue her on turn 1 and use the last charge of the hammering staff, RIP. Let's get that out of the way. You saw the Avatar get a barrier buff there. He's going to be soaking the swarms for us, but even with boosted resistance, his pitiful luck of 3 still makes him the priority target, so that's cool. Midia gets a door key for later, and we're into turn 2. For a 6-turn clear, Zane needs to transform on turn 2, otherwise you'll be looking at an untransformed Zane at the start of turn 6, which I had to learn the hard way. Abel continues his job as Geosphere holder, and it's time to kill these heroes, which are pretty tough with capped strength and speed. FE7 has a lot of work to do in the endgame, and only 20 charges, so while Katarina and Zane are more than capable of 2-hit KOing all these guys with FE7, I do need a certain amount of crits to conserve charges. It's hard to say exactly what that number is, you just need at least 3 uses left after chapter 20x. But generally, you need to get pretty lucky in either 20 or 20x, and indeed I get very lucky here in chapter 20. There's a longbow sniper and a swarm bishop up and left of where we are now, along with a heavily guarded Brave Axe chest for some reason, but they'll leave us alone as long as we stay out of their range. And like I was saying, unlike Yumina, Militia needs a pure water to come along with the team. The problem with this enemy phase is that the next hero can only reach Zane, so if the sniper stupidly chooses to stand in front of Zane to attack Katarina like he does, instead of standing up by the wall, then the sniper has to die to a regular 11-sword crit on counter, or it's a reset. If he were in the other position, we could just finish him off on player phase. So it's unlucky that he stood there, but it's lucky that he died. It all kind of just comes out in the wash. Of course, Zane is holding the Star Sphere to make the sniper attack Katarina. and that will leave Zane healthy enough to fight the hero. This turn is a little tougher than it looks. This hero has the Sword Slayer, which will one-shot any of our Sword Masters, so we need to chip him down at range, and the warrior has a Tomahawk, so our weakened spell swords can't really fight him. The best solution is just to crit the warrior with Mercurius. Abel's here with the Geosphere. Pala and Etzel have level ups on standby. You could also attack the hero with the Avatar to advance the RNG, and normally you'll also have the Sniper left to kill to advance the RNG. So it's really not hard to find that Mercurius crit. You do need to be careful of the upper Swarm Bishop and Longbow Sniper on this turn. Make sure the Avatar isn't in range of both swarms, and we'll have Abel soak the upper swarm thanks to his 7 luck. The Treasure Room Bishop rolled an extra point of magic, though. I was caught completely off guard by this. I did not know that was possible. This is the only time I've ever seen it. So even with the Star Sphere, Fina can't enter his range. I had to adapt to the strat on the fly. The Upper Swarm Bishop does have 26 total might, though, so she can enter his range, and we'll see how it works out. And now we're just making sure everybody can survive Swarm with some heals. Abel opens the treasure room door for us with a key we bought in chapter 18. And crazy enough, FE7 cannot 2-hit KO this general, so one of these 2 hits does unfortunately need to crit. Etzel's heal a second ago could have been a Physic instead for a level up, and that would give you different RNG to try if you need to. With that guy out of the way, I need a Master Sword crit on the Sage, and either Pala or Minerva needs to crit the Sniper. But with 2 attacks from Marth and Midia to advance the RNG, and a level up on Pala, a potential level up on Etzel in a second after he gets danced, it's really no trouble at all getting what you need on this turn. It probably looked odd having Etzel trade the Star Sphere off of Katarina before she went looking for a crit, but this was the adaptation I had to make to move Fina forward and dance Etzel. Etzel needed an extra tile of movement on this turn, and of course the only way for Fina to survive in this position is to have the Star Sphere. Imagine though that the Treasure Room Swarm Bishop had rolled 26 might, and Fina was down in the Treasure Room with everyone else now. There's another Swarm Bishop that we can't reach, who covers the Treasure Room south of the Treasure Room, so Fina would need to continue holding the Star Sphere while she's in there. But think about the start of the turn where I need to kill Hardin. How would I get the Star Sphere from Fina onto Katarina without wasting Fina's turn? I would need some long trade chain that starts outside the range of a longbow sniper who's guarding Hardin, and after looking at it for a long time, there's just no way to do it. So instead I'll have to use the rescue staff on Fina when I go for the kill. However, if Humana and the Avatar had been deployed together in 3 more chapters than they currently have, for a total of 10, I would have received a resistance bond from their 3rd support conversation, and I wouldn't have to deal with any of this Star Sphere business on Fina, and I would have saved a rescue use. Chapters 5, 10x, and 15 are perfect for that, so if you want to do this run and beat my turn count, there you go. That's how you save a rescue use, and then you can use that to save turns somewhere else. Back in the action though, we got some reinforcements from entering the treasure room. We had to use the Thief Staff's final charge to loot the chest in front of the door, since that tile will be occupied by the unit opening the door next turn. We looted some other treasure, and moved the spheres around, and got it set up for the boss kill next turn. There's a completely unreasonable amount of further reinforcements from the bottom right, and more paladins from the starting point every enemy phase starting on turn 5. This looks terrifying, but it's really just a clock forcing you to finish the map. And that's fine, they don't even get close to us. In order for Katarina to reach 1 range on the boss, she needs to be exposed to this Spear Paladin, and you obviously can't waste 11 sword uses there, so I had to make sure to equip a 1-range sword like the Devil Sword to avoid that. It is now the final turn of Hardin's life, and we're going to trade chain the Master Key around to get all this treasure, while making sure the Geosphere is in range of all our kills. Of course, the game prioritizes the door key over the master key for opening the door. That's nice. The worst case scenario here is that you'll have to do all 4 crits after the save tile. However, I was extremely lucky and got all 4 crits without even using the save tile. I mean, I used it, I just didn't have to reset. I got all the treasure, so I'm just going to shut up now and let you enjoy the show. Harden finally falls, and we obtain the Dark Sphere, completing the Binding Shield and taking away our other glorious, wonderful spheres that I don't want to lose, just so that Marth can have a permanent +2 to all stats. Whoop-de-doo. I think this is a really well-designed chapter, all in all. I like the time crunch, I like the small amount of trash, and I love how tough Harden is. I don't know why the Brave Bow is in a chest that's impossible to get in the bottom right. Why would you even want that when a Forged Steel Bow one-shots every flyer in the game since, like, Chapter 4? Who knows? Thanks for watching. And bring a resistance bond to this map!